Friday Night Live with the rock music, baby. Let's go. That's enough. Welcome to Friday Night Live. We are sponsored by Craig Vail, the owner of Blackbridge Financial in the Palisades. Blackbridge Financial specializes in wealth management services. If you need some help managing your wealth and your money, make sure you reach out to Craig and he will help you manage everything that you have in your portfolio. All right, welcome to week 10. This season has flown by, man. We still got the playoffs going, but this is the next to last week that just about every school will be in action here in the Charlotte metro area and beyond. If this is your first time watching Friday Night Live is your show. If you comment on it, I will talk about it, and we as an audience will discuss it not only here, but in the comments as well. We've got 3 comments in the bucket. I did not go to a game tonight, but I do want to talk about something that happened at a game. And I've been going back and forth on trying to figure out how I want to talk about this because it's very frustrating, not only for myself, but for a number of us in the media who go to games and cover them. I was told by a very reliable source tonight that media were being escorted off the field by police at the Myers Park game. And I mean, we got to have a little bit of professional respect and decorum. You know, I get very frustrated when we as media don't know what a policy is, what a standard is. And, you know, I go out of my way to try and find out, you know, what each school's policy is, because it's not consistent across the board, which is another whole different frustration. But at the very least, if schools make these policies known and communicated, we can, as a media, do the right thing. Okay. If you don't share what your policy is, you know, media make plans to go and cover games, you know, thinking that if you don't have a displayed policy, then, you know, your NCHSAA media pass is good enough to get in. At 95% of the schools, that is the case. But apparently, you know, at Myers Park, that's not the case. And if you are a longtime viewer of CFI, you will remember years back, we had an issue in trying to cover a big time playoff game in the spring of the COVID year. Y'all give me 1 second here. I've got to take a phone call, but I'll be right back. I'm going to run the Between the Lines intro here while I handle some business. So hang tight.
You see him on CFI. We on it all night. 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 Touchdown! Highlights and rankings. They cover the toughest there in America. Charlotte football insiders. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can catch them on that podcast
Okay, thanks for that brief commercial break. That's what we'll call that. But back to my point here: if there are not clearly communicated media standards and policies, um, media are going to, come to the game and be prepared to cover the game. And um, the other part of this, like I said, a police escort, I think, is major overkill for something like this. Media are respectful; they're professional. To my knowledge, they don't cause any problems that would rise to the level of a police response, which is embarrassing and disappointing to say the least. So um, I'll have more on that on Football Focus Weekly next week, but I had to get that off my chest because that just I just don't understand. I don't understand that one bit. But let's get to the comments here. We've got 10. So I appreciate everybody sharing their thoughts here. Of course, we're going to lead with Armani Bird, our Clover guy. Ugly win tonight versus Nation Ford, 21-17. Made too many boneheaded plays in the second half, which kept the game close. Top Ridge on the clock. Season went by super fast. Yeah, we just said that. And yeah, it flies by when it gets here, man. It really does. And congrats to Clover on getting a tight win there. It looks like they're tracking towards the playoffs. So congratulations on a pretty good season. And we'll see, how you guys do next week, man. I appreciate you watching as always. Travis Styles, our Kings Mountain guy. I hadn't seen you in a couple weeks, man. Good to see you. Let me know how y'all did tonight. Kim, good to see you as always. Grimsley got by Dudley. What's up, man? 42-14. No shame in that. Those Grimsley guys are a real machine, for sure. Chat Administrator, Mooresville, big win over Statesville. Really physical game. Next week, Mooresville and Lake Norman for the conference title, and get the popcorn ready. Well, I can tell you, our guy Shay Shottam, has told me he plans on coming there on Friday night. So you guys will have some great highlights, courtesy of him and of us at CFI. So from what I've seen on social media, some highlights were pretty impressive. Looks like J-Man had another good game. Brody Norman spread the ball around in the passing game. So Mooresville's, once again, we talked about it last week, teams peaking at the right times, and it looks like Mooresville is getting that done for sure. Jonathan Mitchell, good evening. Beautiful night to be a Husky. Yeah, I watched a good bit of this game. We were not there. That's a whole nother story on top of what I led the show with. But yeah, Huff defeated Myers Park 28-6. And they did it with a really strong fourth quarter. You could see Huff just kind of wore Myers Park down, the Huff offense, that is. Myers Park was able to string together a couple drives, get a couple field goals. But for most of the game, the Huff defense was keeping them off the field. So that Myers Park defense was out there a good bit, and Huff, continually, hitting with body blows, running the football. Boogie Morrison, man, what an impressive game at the running back spot. He had some really good runs. And then, once they kind of beat him up, they were able to, hit him over the top with some key passing plays. We shouted out Jameer Anderson on the show. We said someone else in the receiving corps had to step up with Tyron Evans out. He had 2 touchdown catches tonight, and then Jaden White had a touchdown catch as well. So, the Huskies really showed why they've been ranked number 1 in our rankings all season long, and it was a marquee matchup, and the Huskies were able to come out on top and play really well, man. All right, our Dudley guys saying it was a close game for 2.5 quarters, and then they took off. Well, they do that to a lot of people, so there's no shame in that. Oh, there's Travis. Also, Ashbrook took down Crest. Wasn't expecting that. Kings Mountain beat Hunter Huss. Well, the other game I was watching, and this was mostly second half I was watching, was Ashbrook and Crest. And Ashbrook won that game 21-14, and they won it with a goal line stop from the 1 yard line. And the biggest thing in that was Crest tried to run a quarterback sneak. They got stopped. They didn't have any timeouts, and the clock ran out on them before they could run another play after the sneak was stopped. So the Ashbrook defense, really rose up and got the job done. Shaquan was there, and he'll have highlights from the game, and we were texting a little bit, so I'm going to share some things with you. Initially, he was saying that, Crest kind of controlled the pace early. The offensive line, defensive line matchups were pretty evenly matched. Running game took a while to get going. Ashbrook got on the board with a deep ball. That was about 80 yards. It's a completed. The receiver broke a tackle. I don't know who it was, but I'm sure we'll find out. And then somewhere in the early second half, Ashbrook really got it going, and they took the lead. And you said there was a lot of penalties on both sides, and then we were kind of talking about the end of the game there. So it's a huge win, obviously, for Ashbrook. Puts them in the really strong position to win the conference title, and remaining undefeated, you'll put them in a position to get a high seed going into the playoffs. All's not lost for Crest. Obviously, they can bounce back and learn from this loss. But I mean, it will hurt them a little bit in terms of, playoff seeding. So you talk about 5A, you're looking at Hickory and East Lincoln and Crest. This could be the difference of, hosting Hickory or East Lincoln or having to go there deeper into playoffs. So there you go. Ride the wave. That I don't do it. I don't do the arm motion because I'm not good at it. But that's the thing that several of the guys on our Wednesday night show will do. And I'm sure they'll ride the wave on next Wednesday night. We'll be back on Wednesday night this week, by the way. So back in our normal time. So they'll have that ready for you. Dakota says they're glad I'm back tonight. I'm glad to be here. I didn't know if I was gonna make it, but glad to be here. Yeah, Kendall Rudolph. I'll come back to that at the end there. Let's see. Palisades over Rocky River, 53-6. Yeah, I figured Palisades was going to be ready to play. That was a tough loss last week to Providence in the fashion that it happened. So I knew they were chomping at the bit to get out there and, show that, that's not indicative of the team that they are. So good bounce back win. We'll see what happens with Providence and RGK next week. Also a game that Shay Shottam, our guy Shaquan, wants to cover on Thursday night. So for those that don't know, there are some games on Thursday night next week. I guess because Halloween is Friday. I never heard of that being a thing, but I guess it is. So there's some Thursday night games primarily in CMS, and then Friday night's the regular, slate. So we are planning on covering 2 games, Thursday and Friday. Right now, I told you the games Shay Shottam will be at, most likely, if we're allowed. Let me stop. Right now, I am planning on going on to Garinger and watch them play West Meck. I have not seen Garinger at all this season, and I saw West Meck way back in the preseason. So I hadn't seen them in a regular season game. So that's Thursday night for me and producer. And then Friday night, we are planning to go to J.M. Robinson as they host Northwest Cabarrus. So I have to say this now with the caveat that pending media approval. That is our schedule. Oh, 2025, man, I tell you. Oh, Mr. Clark, God, thank you for this. Country Day over Charlotte Latin 24-21. Big win for Country Day. That's big in the Big Four private school battles here in Charlotte. And I heard that Braylon Clark closed out this game with an 80-yard touchdown catch. Is that correct? If so, he is showing once again, as he has week in and week out, why he's a 5-star player. And Country Day's got some guys, man. I mean, him and Nate Dollard are a heck of a tandem. And then they've got, the quarterback obviously throwing these balls, Mr. Morales, who's been impressive. We just wrote about him on Prep Reds on North Carolina. So there you go. Good stuff, man. Congratulations. Coach Jones, yeah. I'll save that for the end of the show. But I was there in spirit. Let's see. Laramie Watson wants to talk about Robinson. I saw the score was 45-19, I believe. Robinson over Carson. Another big win for the Bulldogs. And as I just said a couple minutes ago, I plan on being there next week to see them against Northwest Cabarrus, and what's become a really good rival game in Cabarrus County. Both of those teams have played well this year. I need to see if we'll look at the scores here at the end, but I need to see if Northwest Cabarrus beat West Rowan, because they were down in that game 13-0. So we'll see if that's going to be a matchup of two one-loss teams in Cabarrus County. Oh, Big Eye. There he is. Big win tonight over North Meck. I believe that score was 41-0. So Independence backs up the big win they had last week over Mallard Creek with another shutout against the Vikings. So that sets up a big game, obviously, next week with their rivals, the Bulldogs. And I believe Butler fell to Mallard Creek tonight. We'll see that final score here in a couple minutes and see. There's Adam. Adam's one of the wave riders. So there you go. All right. Kel Stacks got Hopewell over West Meck 17-13. Yeah, it's 2 in a row for Hopewell. Coach Sneed up there getting it done, man. Congratulations to the Titans. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Also next week, we'll look at the playoffs and see, we started looking at it last week, and we'll do an update when they update the RPIs, and we'll use high school OTs breakdown because they live and breathe that stuff. And give you an idea on where your teams are heading into the final week of the regular season. So we'll have that next week on Football Focus Weekly. Mike Eddy, Dub C guy, has got Dub C 37-0 over Chambers. My goodness. Wow. Yeah, West Charlotte rolling. They're absolutely rolling, man. And it's good stuff to see. We are really going to see some fun stuff, I believe, in 8A in the playoffs. Not as many teams qualify in 8A. So it's good and bad. It's just the way the numbers work out, but you also get, more quality football sooner into the playoffs. So some of those first round games are going to be really interesting. And once again, we'll look at that next week on the show. Gail Travis wants to shout out Country Day. Yeah, you got a vested interest there. Congratulations. Great job. Mr. Clark's also talking about Braylon here. Says that game tonight put him over 1,000 yards for the season in 8 games. Good gracious. Special talent here in Charlotte, man. There's some good stuff. Let's see here. We got A15M120. What a name. He said, have you seen the Jackson Dollar kid play at East Lincoln? Absolutely. Last year after the season, Prep Reds on North Carolina, I wrote about him. And, when you looked at his film, he was just so naturally fluid. He's also a basketball player. So, those kind of guys, you go through history, when you see those guys with that kind of size, and he's like 6'4", 6'5", and they have that basketball in them, they make great tight ends. And that's what he is. He can play some defense also, some edge with his size and all that, but he needs the ball in his hands, and he does incredible things. Like the routes he runs down the seam, linebackers have no way of staying with him. And then he's tall enough to where he's gonna, just what's the word? High point the football over safeties and DBs that try to check him, downfield. So he's a matchup nightmare. He's everything you want in a modern day vertical tight end. And that's why he's got all the offers he has, and he deserves every single one of them. By all accounts of the people I talked to, he's a great young man. And he's going to make some college very happy because he's got a super bright future, and he's one of the best players in the state. We've got him ranked, I think, top 10 in his class in the state, and it's deservedly so. He's an incredible talent. So, man, thank you for bringing that up. Let's see. Hey, Karen, good to see you as always. And Indy defense, yeah, 2 shutouts in a row. Don't get much better than that. That's pretty good stuff right there. Gary Ashley, thank you for this. West, woo, that's an upset. West Rowan, 23-21 over Northwest Cabarrus. Yeah, man, that's wow. I was telling somebody West Rowan's they've been a hard team to figure this year. Like some weeks they bring it, and then some weeks it's not as good. But going into this season, West Rowan was pegged as a favorite to possibly win that conference, but some games, and they've looked like that, and some games they just haven't, put it together. But in talking to them, they came to our media day that we held at Harding before the season, and I was really impressed with Coach Kraft. Linebacker Caden Sanders is a tackling machine. And they've got a sophomore we just wrote about. I believe his name is Devon White, who's the running back. And he does a great job in moving the chains and keeping everything going for those guys. So they are a dangerous team. And they get into the playoffs, they're going to do some damage for sure. All right. Let's see here. Ethan Royal threw some time. Yeah. And the 2 touchdown passes were just beautiful when he was hitting Jameer Anderson in stride. And it was some really good stuff there. Let's see. Kitty Huffstetler. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Joe Hughes, and shout out to the DJ at Ashbrook for pulling old school Lil Jon out the crate. And he feeling like summer 2005 again. Oh man. That's good stuff right there. Julian De La Cruz. Yep, we talked about Mooresville over Statesville earlier, 45-13. Real impressive victory. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get the scores up real quick, and we'll run through those and see what we got here. All right, let's switch over. We'll share the screen. We got, all right. Okay, let's go through these. So we got, Pine Lake over Lincoln Charter 44-21. Coach Trotter shared some stuff with me. We'll get those guys out on Pet Man's Players. Monroe won a big game over Mount Pleasant 39-21. Hickory Ridge over Harding 24-14. Hickory Ridge led that game 24-0 at the half, and then Harding played much better in the second half, just kind of didn't have enough time there. Concord big over Salisbury 42-7. We talked about West Charlotte over Chambers 37-0. RV Kill big over East Meck 48-0. In a entertaining game, West Cabarrus outlast Central Cabarrus 42-38. There's Mallard Creek over Butler, 44-22. Them bouncing back after the tough loss to Independence. Community School Davidson over Langtree, 58-7. South all over North Iredell, 49-21. Weddington Big over Piedmont, 49-0. There's Mooresville Statesville again. Parkwood over West Stanley in a wild one. Wow, 45-42. Palisades over Rocky River, we mentioned earlier. There's Country Day over Latin. Forest Hills in a close one over Anson County, 14-12. Wow. South Meck all over Garinger, 63-6. Let's see here. Union Academy over Thomas Jefferson, 45-19. East Rowan over South Rowan, 33-12. North Rowan over Albemarle, 21-14. Let's see here. Lake Norman over Davie County. Good win for them. 23-10. A.O. Brown over Cox Mill. Big. 47-21. Catholic back in the win column. Got that offense going. 28-14 over Cuthbertson. Let's see. South Stanley barely beats Mountain Island 15-14. Ends kind of the winning streak that Mountain Island had going there. Let's see. East Lincoln over Maiden. Maiden was leading this game early. East Lincoln wins 35-21. Let's see. Some scores still haven't been updated, so we'll wait on those to come in. Indian Land remains undefeated, 20-16 over Fort Mill. Burns all over Highland Tech, 48-0. Bandy's over West Iredell, 36-32. Let's see. Sun Valley over Marvin Ridge, 30-7. South Point all over Forest View, 56-14. And there's Kings Mountain winning over Hunter Huss, 31-14. West Lincoln over East Gaston, 27-21. And that's what we got. A few of those scores hadn't come in yet officially. So let's see here. Jamil Watson, 3 touchdowns. Oh, nice. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. I like seeing some of these defensive guys, get in on offense, although he can play both, obviously. So good stuff right there, man. All right. Like I said, we're going to have more commentary on some of the media stuff that's going on Football Focus Weekly next week, because there's a lot more to cover on that. Like I said, we'll be back at our normal time on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on all these same outlets. So please come and join us. Let somebody know about us. We really appreciate it. Even though our numbers are great, other people say that they're number one, but there are people that are telling fallacies out here. But we don't get into all that. So anyway, all right. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll see you next week on Football Focus Weekly. Thanks, everybody.